Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Let's start. L'chaim, l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam va'olam. So we started the third chapter of Tanya, but we started this with some long conversation about this Sefirot. Since in the beginning of Tanya, Alter Rebbe mentions the structure of our soul. We're talking about our godly soul. Mentioned 10 powers of the soul, which correspond to 10 divine Sefirot. So we dedicated some time to the general conversation about Sefirot. We said that Sefirot are the channels of transformation of the divine energy, enabling to the finite creation receive the energy from the source, the infinite source, from the absolute, modified and converted, so to speak, according to the level of the recipient of the creation. We said that this structure of 10 Sefirot. Okay, I'm sorry, let me get the clicker. See, I remembered about the sushi, but I forgot about the slideshow. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh.
Okay.
Beautiful picture. So we described the whole structure of this system of Sefirot. Said that they could be divided into two general groups: the powers of mind, Chochma, Bina, Das, and so-called emotional powers. But this is not the exact description. These are the powers of actualization, of revelation, of implementation of the design, created, formed, revealed, and formed on the level of mind, of the intellect. So, as the question was asked, so, during the discussion, describing this Sefirot, we separated them into how many groups?
Three.
Three. How do you know? You
I heard the videos.
That's right. Three groups. Emotional, so-called emotional Sefirot, right? We divided them into three groups. Do you remember the idea of these three groups? No? Chochma, Bina, Das, that's intellectual. That's the powers of mind. Okay, so let me
That's the
go
first group,
here.
right?
Yeah. That we're talking about. I'm talking about the 7 powers which we discussed on the last class, right? You see 3 groups. What's the essence of the first 3?
About the intention of giving or taking. It's like
Giving or taking.
a balance between wanting to provide and not providing too much.
Not providing too much. Okay, so they refer to the potential to reveal.
Yeah.
With all the details, not just to give, but to give smartly,
Yeah.
to analyze the recipient, and to dose the amount of the information in general meaning of this term, which you want to share, information, energy, whatever, something valuable, and so on. That's the first 3. The second group refers to what?
The second group?
Yes, the second 3. Ability to actuals. Ability to achieve. It's not enough, to feel urged to reveal yourself, and even to know that, okay, to this audience I have to say so and so, and you need to start talking, and not only that. It's not enough to start talking, which is great achievement, for the shy Jewish child especially. But it's not enough. what else should be achieved? To convey, that's right, to deliver. And then the last channel of this group implies the total involvement of all your powers into the process of doing, creating. And then the last one, the creation, when the process transforms itself into the result. I see in English also it's the word creation has two meanings, right? The process and the result, which makes it easier for us to understand the essence of this channel, Malchus. Okay, and we finished with a promise to spend some time talking about the idea of, how to say, self-inclusion of those Sefirot. That each one includes the entire structure itself. Does the picture reveals this idea? Good. I worked so hard. Okay, so it means that each sphera includes the structure of all these 10 Sefirot. By the way, do you know when we, in our practice, Jewish practice, refer to this self-inclusion, when one power actually includes the whole structure of these powers? Right after Pesach, what happens? The whole period of time begins with, which has its own name, Sfirat HaOmer.
Oh, Sfirat HaOmer. Okay.
Counting of the Omer. But counting, the word counting, Sfirat, refers, sounds like, and refers to the idea of Sfirot. Because these 7 weeks is a time of rectification, purification of what? 7 what? 7 Sefirot of the lower level, right? The emotional powers of our soul, when each one includes the whole structure of 7. It's only, we're referring only about these 7 because the necessity of this appeared after we spent 2 centuries in Egypt and stained, so to speak, our souls. But the higher levels of the soul cannot be damaged by the surrounding impurity. Only those 7 emotional powers through which we actually communicate with the world outside of us, those could be affected. So these 7, each one includes all other 7, which gives us how many elementary combinations? 49, 7 weeks. So the first week is the time of rectification of Sfira Chesed, which includes Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus. So in the Nusach Sfarad, the part of the prayer which we say every day when we count the Omer includes the short prayer for purification of corresponding sphera, and we announce the name of this sphera. So on the first day we say Chesed Shebe Chesed, Chesed in the Chesed, within the Chesed. Next day is Gvura Shebe Chesed, Gvura which is in the Chesed, and so on. Next week is Gvura. So the first day we purify Gvura Shebe Chesed. No, I'm sorry. Chesed Shebe Gvura. I'm sorry. The first day is Chesed. Chesed Shebe Gvura. Then Gvura Shebe Gvura. Then Tiferes Shebe Gvura, and so on. Third week of Tiferes. So the first day is Chesed
B'Tiferet.
B'Tiferes. Second day is Gvura Sheb'Tiferes, and so on.
So all the Sefirot is included inside the Sefirat HaOmer?
Yes,
When we
but only emotional ones. That's why we count 49 days. 7 by 7. 7 times 7. So now let's try to understand this, the idea of this combination. So Chesed Sheb'Chesed, Gvura Sheb'Chesed, or next week we have Chesed Sheb'Gvura, and then Gvura Sheb'Gvura. What does it mean? Let's try to analyze. So Chesed is the potential to reveal. It's about closeness, right? To establish connection, to be together, close, to give. Gvura is the opposite power. Power of limitation, of building, making structure. What is structure? Boundaries and hierarchy. So how this combination works? So the main sphera, which includes other 7, refers to the core motivation, so to speak. The elementary sphera, the one which is included, refers to the way of acting. I'll show you. I'll try to demonstrate. Say Chesed Sheb'Chesed. That means the core sphere is Chesed. That means that intention is to benefit, for the benefit of the recipient, for the good, primitively speaking. And Chesed Sheb'Chesed means that the way how it's being executed, so to speak, is also positive, through revelation, through contact, through the connection, through giving. See, the person in need, the giver wants to help, and he gives. We're talking about a situation when the real help is to give. So it's giving with the intention to give, to provide, to do favor. On both levels, it's positive. Now, we discussed last time that giving is not always a good thing. Chesed, unlimited chesed, is not always good. That's why we need gvura to limit the chesed, to moderate it, to organize and to measure. So that gives us the ability to understand very easily what's Gvura Sheb'Chesed. Maybe you can explain me. Gvura Sheb'Chesed, what's the core power? No. Gvura Sheb'Chesed. Gvura within the Chesed.
So it's giving but with restraint, like not
Gvura within the Chesed. So the core power is Chesed. So the main motivation is to benefit, to help, so to speak, but the way of
giving it,
execution is through strictness.
With restriction or
through strictness, not giving or limiting the access and so on, through maybe putting some distance, building boundaries. Sometimes, or very often, it's very beneficial. Protecting, your personal space and so on, or preventing something harmful, which might be requested by the recipient, but you tell him you're not ready for that.
But
No.
how, I'm
Not
sorry.
ready for that, exactly.
So remember the simple example from the last time. The child wants the gun. Chesed shebechesed and no, it won't be even chesed shebechesed.
No.
I'm sorry. The unlimited chesed would be harmful in that situation. To give him something which might harm him is not good. So with intention to benefit, to help, or even to save, you put the limit. You build the boundary. You don't give if the recipient is not up to it. The same with teaching. Sometimes, the mind of the student has such a thirst for the knowledge, but not always his or her mind is ready for that level of information. So in that case, chesed, gvura shebechesed is restricting for the benefit of the recipient. Yeah.
How does Gvura Shebechesed differentiate from just Gvura?
From just gvura,
Yeah.
we said that the core power is chesed. So it's for the benefit of the recipient. Unlike the situation when the purpose is just to create the distance, to restrict, to exclude, and so on. We can talk about different types of recipients. Some recipients are not our friends at all. We don't want to give them anything. So it will be the core power would be gvura. And then this core power gvura could be revealed through the channel of chesed, giving, like sending missiles, let's say. It's chesed shebegvura. I want to destroy, but through sending. Gvura shebegvura, I'm withholding something, water, cement, whatever, from the recipient who should not receive that.
Hamas is doing gvura on the other side.
So can we say gvura belo chesed?
So when, yeah, that's chesed
We don't
shebegvura.
want the chesed.
There is another, but
That's a
again,
whole different story.
but again, it could
We
be.
don't need the recipient.
That's one of the examples. Gvura as a core power could be revealed by the result. Like one of the examples of chesed shebegvura is, I'm sorry, it won't be very politically correct, but in some tractates it's being discussed the difference between gvura shebechesed and chesed shebegvura. And example of gvura shebechesed is father punishing the child to teach, to educate. So it's gvura, punishment, but it's
But with love.
with love for benefit.
Okay.
And the example of chesed shebegvura, guess what?
Same thing.
No.
That's what it means,
When the child
I
hits
say,
the
I
father.
give a hint. No. Father punishing the child. That's gvura shebechesed.
Okay.
Now,
Spoiling.
No, chesed,
who?
Child.
the child.
Not
If
whom.
the father
Who? By
spoils
whom?
the child,
No.
he's giving a chesed.
Okay, I'll
but
give you.
it's
I'll
not
give you.
wrong.
I'll give you the hint.
On the hint.
Chesed is the masculine element. Gvura is the feminine element.
Okay.
So who is spoiling the child?
The
Child.
masculine.
My wife is not listening to me, so I can be
Oh,
brave.
no.
The mom.
Okay, of course. That's chesed shebegvura. It's chesed. It's giving, but it's not really beneficial. Which reveals that the core power is gvura, which is, again, there is nothing derogative in this description. It's very natural, because gvura, that's the feminine power. But that's the example. You see, we give different types of example in different types of relationship
But
with the close people, with friends, so to speak, because normally our children are our friends, hopefully.
But the mom usually
So,
like she's acting from act of emotional more than like intellectual.
And that's the result, yeah.
so you
She's
say,
not obviously trying to hurt her kid, but
But
so
Yeah,
Gvura
of
is
course,
masculine.
Of course, but-
like,
But that's
Gvura
but,
is
but
she
that's
doesn't
masculine.
have-
Yeah.
She's in doing a little negative by doing that because you need to have some limitation.
exactly. So by spoiling, the result achieved is negative, which reveals that the core power is Gvura. Now, do you understand now how it works? The combinations of the of the Sefirot? Good. Okay, so which gives us the total combination of number of combinations, 100 in total, or on the level of the emotional powers, 49. Why are you laughing?
100. Can you tell me why it's 100?
What?
Why it's 100?
Because it's including the powers of mind, it's 10 Sefirot.
Okay.
So 10, which includes 10. 10 times 10 is 100. Yes.
What about, so we went over the nested actuality, the seven actuality things. But what about like nested emotional aspects, like Chachma, Bina, and Dot? What about the way that they kind of layer themselves?
You want me to analyze all the possible
No,
combinations?
At least the other three.
At least.
That's like
To do so, I need to prepare the separate lecture.
Or will we go into the way that the other three possibly like nest like that, or not?
If you want to give me homework, I can try to prepare it for the for the
in
for
Tanya,
the.
does it talk about that?
No. Last couple of classes, it's extra curriculum. Since Tanya mentions 10 powers of the soul, which correspond to 10 Sefirot, I decided that it will be very useful for you to understand deeper what Sefirot are.
We could save it.
I think it makes sense. No?
We could save it for later. Yeah.
And about combinations, it's extra curriculum.
but all the Sefirot have all the combinations, right?
Yes.
Like all the 10 Sefirot is combined with each other. Like
Yeah, that's what we just said. So the total number of combinations is 100. If we discuss only the emotional ones, then it's 49. 7 times 7. But total is 100. Okay, now we're ready to go back to the text of Tanya. Actually, we can make it more interactive. Maybe someone want to read? Yes.
now, each distinction.
Oh, one second. First, in Hebrew. V'hinei kol b'chinas hamidas mishalish ela, nefesh ruach haneshama, klula me'eser b'chinas, keneged eser sfiras elyenis, shenishtalshelu mehem. Hanechlokis lishtayim, shehem shalish imeis, v'sheva kfulis, perush, chochma bina odas, v'shivas yimei habinyan, chesed, gvura, tiferes, chuli. Your turn?
I could read it in Hebrew.
I know. In much better Hebrew than I do, right?
Okay, so now.
But there is no space, for
Now, each distinctions and grade of the three, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, consists of 10
faculties, the powers.
Corresponding to the
Supernal.
10 Sefirot,
Mhm.
and from which they have descended, which are subdivided into two, namely the three mothers and the 7 multiples.
Multiples. Yeah.
Names
namely
חוכמה,
Chokhmah,
Mhm.
Bina, and Da'at, and the 7 days of creation, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, and so on.
Great. You skipped the translations of the terms, right? You
Yeah.
don't like the English words.
Kindness,
Me neither. I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay, so now we understand to some extent what Tanya is talking about. At least half of the paragraph, more or less understood, right? That the soul on each level. Remember, we spoke about different levels of the soul. So each level includes 10 inner powers, which correspond and come from the 10 divine Sefirot, which are divided into two groups: powers of mind, Chabad, Chokhmah Bina Das, and the so-called emotional powers. But here we see something else. Now, which are divided into two that we discussed, namely 3 mothers and 7 multiples. We didn't explain those terms, right? Neither mothers nor multiples.
mother could be
The mothers.
Nefesh Ruach
So we-
Neshama?
But
What?
there is 4 mothers.
There are 4 mothers of Jewish nation,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in Sefirot, in the structure of Sefirot, only 3 called mothers,
Okay.
The
which are
Nefesh Ruach.
no Chokhmah Bina Das.
Okay.
Chokhmah Bina Das.
Okay. Namely Chokhmah.
Let's go to the next level. So these are 10 Sefirot, and our familiar structure of 2 levels, 2 groups, 3 mothers on the top, 7 kfulot, doubles.
Okay.
Here they translate as multiples.
Double.
Kfulot, I think doubles would be literal translation. Because they have, we'll discuss why these Sefirot called by these names. But what's interesting, this corresponds to the structure of the Hebrew alphabet.
Yeah, but
You
there
see,
is
you
a
see,
missing-
you see on the
missing
structure?
letters.
Hmm?
There is missing letters, like 5 from above and another 3.
Where?
Yes, another 3 from.
Yes, yeah.
It started at
Hey,
Hey,
five,
which is
10,
there is no Aleph Bet Gimel Dalet
all-
before.
all on
It's
the right.
4 before.
Okay, so
All on the right.
we said there are three mothers. In alphabet, in Hebrew alphabet, there are 3 letters which are called mothers. These are letters Aleph, Mem, and Shin. They correspond to the intellectual Sefirot, Chokhmah, Bina, and Das. Do you remember? Do you remember the structure, the shape of Shin? 3 lines
Yeah.
coming into one into one point. That's the picture we make on our hand when we put wrapped tefillin, representing the powers of intellect.
Also known as Zusa.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So it's Chokhmah, Bina, and Das. Now, in alphabet, there are 7 letters which are called kfulot, doubles. Why? Because they have 2 ways of pronouncing. Bet is 1 letter, just 2 ways of pronouncing. The strong and weak. The strong
Is the bet
bet,
and
which in the when we write with nikudot, we put the dot inside, which is called dagesh gadol, which dagesh, which shows the way of pronouncing the double letter.
Okay.
It could be strong or could be weak. Bet, the strong pronunciation. Vet is the weak one. There are 7 such letters, which is Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Kaf, Pei, Reish, and Tav.
Why
One
those
thing,
letters?
Those are the ones that have dots in it.
Oh,
Because
yeah, right.
you're asking why those, probably you may be meaning that some of them, you're not familiar with double double way of pronunciation.
like Gimel.
Menachem, you're from Morocco. You should know that it's Gimel with Dagesh.
All my Gimel, they are Gimel. There's no other
Because
Gimel. Gimel is Gimel.
In some Sephardic communities, they save this tradition of different pronunciation of some of these letters.
We do it in bed.
In modern Hebrew, and there's no difference
They drop the
how you pronounce Dalet and Gimel with Dagesh or without. Maybe making it a little stronger, so to speak, longer, prolonging. But originally it was different way of pronouncing.
Like I can't think about
Like in Sephardic tradition, there is no difference between Tav,
Yeah.
Tav with Dagesh, but in Ashkenazic it transformed Tav, the strong pronouncing, and Sav,
Yeah.
but it's became the same as other letters, which Sin or Samach.
Or summer.
But originally it was Th, like TH in English.
Yeah.
Tav without Dagesh, the weak pronunciation of Tav was the, like English TH. So there are 7 double letters in the. They correspond to the Sefirot, because that's one of the meaning. That's one of the meanings of the statement of our sages, that the world was created with the letters of the holy alphabet. That's why it's called holy language, because it's a language of creation. The names, I mean the words, the names of the objects refers to the way how this light, with this energy which creates this thing and animates it, how it's being transformed. And the first letter shows the first way, the first level of transformation of the divine light. The second letter shows the secondary stage of transformation, and so on. Because every letter refers to certain aspect of the structure of the divine Sefirot. Certain letters correspond directly to the Sefirot, like mothers. These 3 mother letters correspond to the mother Sefirot, Chochmah Bina Das. Those double letters, they correspond to the double Sefirot, the 7 emotional, so to speak, powers. But we know, many of us know, that the holy alphabet consists of more than 10 letters, right?
26.
Because there are other letters which correspond to the other aspects of the structure of Sefirot. They may not refer to specific sphera, but they correspond to specific aspect of the structure of Sefirot. Do you see the column on the left?
Oh, okay. The hay,
You might call it the rest of the letters, right? That's true, but they are called in the words of Kabbalah, they called channeling letters, referring to the dynamic transformation of the divine light, not necessarily referring to the work of one specific singular sphera, but maybe to the group of Sefirot or the entire structure of Sefirot. But each of those 12 letters refer to the specific way of channeling of this. transformation from level to level. You understand? You understand? How many letters? How many channeling letters we have?
So we have now 7, 10,
12.
12.
You count very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how is that?
Some random number, right?
Well, it's more than 10, so.
You have to have a meaning. Nothing is random.
Nothing mean.
12 months of
Nothing means in the Jewish tradition, right?
Nun and Tzadik is
12 tribes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Yes, number 12. And why we have 12 months? They correspond to the 12 mazalot, constellations, which refer to the special, how to say, the mode, the regime of transferring the energy from the source to the universe. That's what it has certain meaning. What time of the year even the person was born, let's say. Every month has its own spiritual nature, because the energy is being transformed differently comparing to the other month. And 12 tribes, they represent different ways of realization of your mission in this world. That's why the Jewish nation consisted of 12 tribes, which initially stems from the fact that stems from the spiritual mission of 12 tribes, in the meaning Shvatim, meaning the sons of Yaakov. Our forefathers, who lived before the Torah was given to us, transformed this world, preparing it to the moment when Hashem revealed himself to us and gave us Torah. They established connection between the source and the world. So now, I mean, they prepared everything that the connection should be established. The connection truly was established by giving us the Torah. But our forefathers prepared the world for this event, so to speak. According to Kabbalah, our forefathers made sure, made possible, the revelation of the infinite light, which is higher than the whole structure of the worlds. Let's go to this scary picture. That they made sure that through the actions of the people, that's how they were fulfilling the mitzvahs of the Torah before they were giving, drawing down the energy to the level of the highest world, Atzilut. They didn't bring anything into this world, but they made sure that the revelation was brought down from the absolute infinity to the level of the world Atzilut. That's the spiritual achievement of our forefathers Avraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. 12 sons of Yaakov continue this job, and they made sure that this energy flowing further. They established like 12 bridges over the biggest gap between the world of Atzilut, the world of godliness, and the world of the beginning of creation. You remember we spoke when we touched the concept of tzimtzum, the contraction of the divine light. We said that there is a huge gap between every world, but especially between the highest world, Atzilut, and the next one. So 12 Shvatim, 12 fathers of the tribes, they, through their spiritual work, fulfillment of the mitzvahs, of the commandments before they were given to us as a law, they made like 12 bridges between the highest world and the further structure, corresponding to the 12 letters of the Holy Alphabet, whose essence is channeling. These are the letters in that column. hello, here. And just as another extra curriculum, we can remember that there are other letters in the alphabet, which we might consider not letters per se, but variations of already known letters. 5 letters, if they appear at the end of the world, they transform. They receive special shape, safit. How to say safit? The final form. Yeah, the final. There are 5 letters:
Yeah.
mem, nun, tzadik, pei, and chaf.
Yeah. So
Because these letters, these end letters, they correspond to the 5 aspects of gvura. 5. There's such an idea of chamisha gvurot. 5 powers of restriction. The Sefirot Gvura, which we discussed already, it's a very, very special power, and it has 5 inner aspects. And that's why we have 5 groups of verbal organs, so to speak. That's why we have 5 fingers also on each. What do you call? Arm and legs. What's the general term? Limbs.
limb.
On each limb we have 5 fingers because of that, because of 5 gvurot, corresponding to these 5 letters of the holy alphabet. Okay, so this Sefirot, 10 Sefirot, divided into 2 groups, have special names. The first 3, Chochma, Bina, Das, are called Imois, mothers. Why? Because as we mentioned briefly in the previous class, by their union gives birth, so to speak. Not really creates from nothing, but brings forth the existence, the functioning of the other 7, which are called in this term, they called children, offsprings of those 3. That very, very important topic, which we'll be discussing in details, of course, but briefly to mention why they called mothers. They create, so to speak. They trigger the emotional powers. That's why they called mothers. The 7 emotional, so to speak, emotional ones, they called kfulot, doubled. Here it's translated as multiples, but the literal, I would say it would be doubled, right? Kfulot, rather doubled. Because they really have 2 modes of execution, so to speak. One, we can compare compared to the way how the corresponding letters act being pronounced, strong and weak. But there is another way of seeing it, another perspective. If intellect is neutral, it cannot be good or bad. It could be used for good thoughts, good ideas, and not so good, so to speak, but it doesn't make intellect bad. Like computer is not good, not bad. It could be used for something productive and good, or for something dirty and bad. The same with our mind. The powers of mind is neutral. But our emotional powers, their nature transforms depending in which direction we use them. The love, let's say, Sefirah Chesed, closeness, giving, being together, establishing connection. The main revelation of this power is love. Sounds very positive, right? But is it always good? Give me an example.
Yeah.
You're shaking your head, so meaning no.
Someone
Give me.
that wants to kill you, you shouldn't love them.
No. We're talking about the love itself. Is love always good? Love, desire.
Bad. If you have a desire for something bad.
Exactly. Love your neighbor.
But again, love.
I mean, when you love your neighbor, it's great, right? Love your fellow, wonderful. But when you love the property of your fellow, then it sounds completely different.
Completely.
It's not good. It's love. It's the desire to be together with the car of your neighbor, with the wife of your neighbor, God forbid, and so on. But it's nothing good about this. It's love. But it's completely different, love of different nature.
Yeah.
So that's why it's double. It could be good, holy, love of God, love of your fellow, or it could be bad, love of the of your fellow's possession. Gvura, also it could be good, fear of God. I'm not talking about the fear of the punishment. Fear as a admitting the tremendous distance. You understand that God is infinite and I'm nothing. That's the fear. That's Gvura. But it could be bad. It's not fear, but the same power which creates distance. When the person needs your help, you say no, building the wall between. It's Gvura, but it's bad Gvura. We said that it could be very ultimate revelation of Gvura in cruelty, which is bad. So each one of these powers has two ways of being executed, revealed, positive and negative, holy and impure. That's why they called kfulot. Now, where is our text? So we said mothers and multiples, namely Chochmah, Bina, Das, that's intellectual power, and 7 days of creation. What does it mean? Intellect and 7 days of creation. I mean, we can feel analogy, right? We're talking about 7 powers, which we called emotional, right? And we discussed in such a length and details the meaning of this Sefirot. Now, what kind of idea we hear? That these inner powers, which you said they correspond to 7 divine powers of corresponding level, it also corresponds to the days of creations, which now we're counting the time with days of the week.
7 days creation, yeah.
So that's why Monday is Gvura. That's why Monday is a hard day.
How about Tuesday?
So at that moment, I'm offering you another, how to say, extracurriculum conversation, how these 7 Sefirot, which we discussed in length, how they correspond to the 7 days of creation. We will see how the world was created, in which stages, what was created on each stage, and how it corresponds to each of 7 Sefirot. Sounds good?
Yeah.
So that's what we will talk on the next class. Thank you.